everybody, this is iRacing Ferrari Challenge at Oulton Park. I did this race earlier today. I wanted to give the Ferrari another chance in iRacing. Since I didn't really like it the first try, went back into the practice server and yeah, it did click a little bit more. I'm gonna tell you more about it later in the video. Also stay tuned for the carnage report at the end, because there will gonna be a lot. So we're getting ready for the start. I'm cautious as ever. We're starting from P9. Yeah, T1 being cautious, not losing any places. And we're already seeing people going off the road. 2 places for me, thank you very much. Right here, this was the... Yeah, we're gonna watch here again. This was the corner that let me not consider this race initially. When I first tried it, I turned into the hairpin and the car was just being understeery as hell, and I couldn't. There's a little banking in the corner, and in the other sims you turn in, the car hooks up on the inside line and you can just ride the turn. Yeah, pretty optimistic move from me here. It didn't really work out. Now the other guy is all over my back. But let's finish the stuff with the hairpin. I think I tried 2 or 3 laps and I just couldn't get my head around what I had to do. When I started it up again today, I turned down the force feedback. So what's happening when you turn in the corner around at the apex of the corner, your steering gets really hard. So I don't know if it should tell you you're getting understeer or anything. It's just you have to use much more force to turn your wheel. I turned the force feedback down. You still feel the effect, but you just power through it. Even if the wheel tells you to give some steering lock and let the car ride out, you just power through, and then I could do something similar to what I can do in the other sims. So yeah, just keep to turn in. This wasn't a good example, but we'll do that corner a lot more often, and then you'll see what I mean. So we're now already up in P4. We got the number 10 car behind us, he's pressuring us. We're a bit late on corner entry. And so this is probably the most difficult corner in the whole track. Yeah, there's other small little differences with iRacing and the other sims there are. The last corner here that's coming up, I can brake so much later in iRacing. I couldn't get used to it for the whole race that I can brake like 20-30 meters later than in any other sim. Also here in T1 I'm being way too cautious. And if you do that in R Factor 2 or AMS 2, or I think Race Room doesn't have Oulton Park, you have to brake much earlier, be much more timid with the car, and here I can just throw it all in. So we're coming up to the hairpin again, and it's like turn in, turn in, turn in. And you have to be very delicate when you apply the throttle and how much steering lock you got. This was probably the main difference to all the other sims. For the most part, the lap is the same. I have to do the same inputs. The car does the same, but just with that hairpin, just feels so strange. So we're 4 minutes into the race. The guy in front has a little bit better pace than us. The guy behind, we got a 2-second gap. We can manage that for a while. Yeah, but all in all, this race was a very positive experience. The thing I didn't really like was the race time. It's only 15 minutes for a race in a GT3 car. I think 30 minutes should be a given. That you can at least have a race evolve, feel your tires doing something. This 15 minutes is just full on, full throttle, taking no prisoners, and it just doesn't lead to very interesting racing, I think. You can do that in a Formula 4 car or something, or in the little Toyota I have, or in the Mazda Cup, then I think 15 minutes is okay, maybe even in the GT4, but I think GT3 should be something 30 minutes and up. But I guess this is what the people like to drive. And we gained another place. We're back up in 4th. We're gonna look at all the carnage that has happened in the race. You don't see too much from my point of view, but for a 15-minute race there was quite a lot of carnage. Yeah, when I checked the lap time charts after the race, I was like half a second off from most guys around me, but I think I drove a pretty consistent race. Also, they gave me car number 1 for whatever reason. This also was, I think, a pretty low split. I have like a 1300 I rating or something. 160 people signed up, so we should be pretty down low. Yeah, during the race I gained more and more trust in the car, what it can do, what I can do with it. So I have to revise my initial impressions I had from this build with iRacing. So maybe it's just the low downforce at Daytona. I could get my head around that. I don't know. Yeah, that was a lapped car. I don't know what it did there. Here, this is also pretty weird. In every other sim, you can ride the curb out, take all the space that there is to you, and if I put one tire on the curb there, then it's an off track. But I think iRacing has always been a bit weird on which places they are giving off tracks and on which places not. I don't know how Spa is right now. It was when I initially signed up to iRacing, and I don't know what car combo I drove back then the most. I think it was the Cadillac. They were at Spa and I was excited. Oh, Spa, this will be amazing. And I drove my first practice lap around Spa and had like 7 off tracks. And I was like, this is no fun. just horrible. I have to be so gentle and precise. And yeah, I think Spa is one of my least raced tracks I got in iRacing. And every time it came up in rotation, it was like, okay, I'm driving something else this week. The car which just go off there, this was a netcode incident. When I saw it on the replay, I remembered that this was pretty common in iRacing from R Factor 2. We don't really have a netcode issue, it happens pretty rarely. In race room, usually they're pretty good, but I had one or two issues where yeah, the netcode was doing something weird. We did a very light contact and I was flying off. This happened to me once or twice, and I think in R Factor it's barely noticeable. Yeah, I was looking at my phone during the race, and the 17 car behind us, he gained a whole second during the last couple of turns. What I also did really like was the iRacing replay system. I think the responsiveness, the options you have, and their predefined camera settings are just awesome. Like all of their TV cams, the footage looks really nice, the cars look believable on track. It's really great. What did what blew me away in all the meaning of the sentence was how they are dealing with surround sound in the replays. In my rig, I'm sitting surrounded by 7 speakers, and in the most other sim, yes, surround while driving works, but it could always be better. And in the replays, for the most part, it's just garbage. And I started the replay of this race, and it was like engine sounds all around me. You could hear the tires squeal through all the speakers around when the car went by. This was really amazing. So now I get a little bit scared because the gap to the car behind is under a second. And I put the phone down and try to get my concentration back up. Yeah, the last corner is also something that's a little bit different in the other sims. You can be a lot more aggressive on the entrance of the corner here in iRacing, but you have to really hold your right foot back on corner exit. And in AMS2, where I did some racing in GT4 at Oulton Park, you have to be a little bit more timid on corner entrance, but you can't just power it out with your right foot. The car gets a little bit loose, you can counter steer and just ride the corner. It feels really amazing, and in iRacing it feels a little bit backwards, being this aggressive on corner entry and then a little wimpy on corner exit. So yeah, race is almost over. I would have loved if this would have been a 30-minute race, because I think the race only starts now. Everybody has settled in, everybody's found their pace, and yeah, it would have been interesting if this was a bit longer. But I think this is a D-class race for, yeah, just when you get out of rookie, you buy a GT3 and this is what you can race then. Yeah, iRacing's changed a lot over the years. What I've seen with the, I think when I signed up, I think the shortest race was something like 25 minutes. Now you have a whole lot of series that run like 15, 20-minute races. So I think when the GT3s came out, you could only drive them when you were B class, and I think you can drive the GT3 Sprint in C, the Ferrari Challenge in D. They toned down their license requirements quite a bit. I don't think it's for the better. So, but this is the fourth race I did since signing back up. I did 2 GR86 races and 1 LMP2 at Long Beach. A third place, it's kind of nice, even if it's in a really, really low split. Yeah, but next week I think I'll be back at R Factor. I think I'm over my R Factor fatigue I felt this week. And let's see what their schedule for race control brings. I hope there will be some good stuff and I can be back online there. Also, my work schedule will pick up a little bit next week, so maybe we'll see how much time I have to do racing. And now the feature you've all been waiting for, the incident report. First incident we get is before the race start. So watch the green Ferrari. Donk, 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 donk. So guy gets off the line, brakes a little bit. The two guys behind, I don't know, they were probably looking at something else and damaged their front wings in the process. So this was the guy who started P1. This is the first lap, he loses it, makes a really nice drift and goes off into the wall. I watched that replay from a couple of perspectives. It didn't look like the red car has hit him at all. I think he lost it by himself. Also lap 1, this is the first approach of the hairpin. The guy brakes way too late and pumps the other guy off. This is the same car. He loses it all on his own and decides, I don't care, I'm just gonna to reverse onto the live racetrack. Great rejoin, mate. This is not how you do it. So this is the guy was running P2, I think. Loses it all on his own. Loses it completely. But this is a proper rejoin. He spins it around, keeps it off the racing line and can keep on going. So this is a pretty, I think this is netcode, the incident. You see both cars. They don't really touch. The yellow car spins off, crashes into the barrier. Yeah, the damage thingy iRacing does is pretty weird. Don't know if the car now has damage or not. So let's see it from the onboard perspective. Yeah, he touched him multiple times. He was up inside the other car and yeah. That's what happens. But when you watch it from external, it looks like they didn't even touch. Here we seeing what happens after the yellow car becomes the bacon in the sandwich as the two other guys go past left and right. Anyway, a nice race. I had a nice time. See you guys. Bye.